Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Deliverability Dialogues.
Okay, so you know that feeling.
Right.
You've sent out a big campaign, your platform says sent, but you just know something's off with your Gmail recipients. Maybe the engagement's tanked, or maybe you've even gotten that really blunt message block Gmail notification. It happens, even to folks who really know their stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating. And look, it's usually not about your servers messing up on your end.
Right.
It's about Gmail's own filters being, well, pretty sophisticated these days.
Exactly. So today, we're going to dig into why Gmail might be blocking your emails and, more importantly, what we can actually do about it. We've pulled together the key points from our sources, focusing specifically on this Gmail blocking issue.
Yep, and this isn't, email marketing 101. We're aiming this squarely at people already in the trenches dealing with deliverability day to day. We want to get into the nitty-gritty of Gmail's defenses.
Okay, so how do you even know for sure it's Gmail specifically that's blocking you? What are the signs we should be looking for?
Well, the most obvious place to start is those bounce back notifications. There are specific codes.
Codes that actually say something useful.
Yeah, sometimes they point directly to Gmail rejecting the email because of filtering or maybe a reputation issue. It's worth, learning to spot those.
Gotcha. But often it's not a hard bounce. It feels more like radio silence. Your emails just disappear.
Right, and that's where you need to watch your engagement metrics really closely, specifically for your Gmail segment.
Like open rates and click-through.
Exactly. If you see a sudden, significant drop just for Gmail users, while other domains are fine, that's a pretty strong indicator that you're landing in the spam folder, even if you're not getting bounces.
And for anyone serious about deliverability, Gmail Postmaster Tools is basically essential, right?
Oh, absolutely essential. If you haven't set it up, do it. It gives you direct insight into how Gmail sees your domain, your reputation, spam complaint rates, delivery errors, the works.
So if your rep looks bad in there or spam complaints are spiking,
that's a huge red flag. It's pretty much telling you Gmail's got an issue with your mail.
makes sense. And what about like actual feedback, people telling you they didn't get the email?
Don't ignore that either. If you get multiple reports from different Gmail users saying, hey, where's your email? Or it keeps going to spam, that anecdotal stuff adds up. It's often the first sign.
So it's rarely just one thing. You need to look at all these signals together.
Precisely. A small dip here or there might be noise, but when you see bounces and low engagement and maybe some user complaints and a poor Postmaster Tools report, well, then you know you've got a Gmail problem.
Okay. So let's say these signs point to Gmail. What are the top reasons why they might be blocking you, even if you think you're doing everything right?
Right. Let's break down maybe 10 common culprits. First up, and it might seem obvious, but content that just looks spammy.
Got it. Content hygiene is key. What's reason number 2?
A sudden big change in how many emails you're sending.
The volume spike.
Yep. Gmail watches sending patterns. If you suddenly go from sending, say, 10,000 emails a day to 100,000 overnight,
They notice.
they definitely notice. It looks like spammer behavior, even if you're legitimate and just growing fast. You might even hit errors like email quota exceeded or mail relay denied.
So the advice there is ramp up slowly.
Absolutely. Gradual increases, spread out sends if you're adding a lot of new people. This ties right into Google's bulk sender guidelines.
Let's talk sender score. That's a big one in deliverability circles.
Huge. Your sender score is basically your reputation card assigned by ISPs like Gmail based on your sending history.
And a good score means?
Generally, better inbox placement with Gmail. A low score, you're much more likely to hit the spam folder or get blocked altogether.
What actually goes into that score? What metrics are they looking at?
It's a mix of things. Sending volume, definitely. How many spam complaints you get, your bounce rate, both hard bounces for invalid addresses and soft bounces.
Okay.
And also positive engagement signals, opens, clicks, forwards, replies. Even things like how quickly people delete your emails or if they unsubscribe. It all paints a picture.
So it's really about the overall recipient interaction. What about infrastructure stuff like IP blacklists?
That's another major one. If the IP address your emails are coming from lands on a blacklist, Gmail is very likely to block it.
And that can happen even if you're doing everything right.
It can, especially if you're on a shared IP address. If someone else sharing that IP has bad sending practices, their poor reputation can drag you down too.
Ugh, the noisy neighbor problem.
Exactly. You'll see a jump in hard bounces, probably more spam complaints. It's why some senders choose to separate their mail streams, like using different IPs or servers for transactional versus marketing emails.
To isolate the risk.
Right. But even then, you still want to keep the from address consistent for each type of email so recipients recognize it.
Good point. Okay, what's another potential reason for getting blocked? Maybe something people overlook.
Repeatedly sending to bad addresses, invalid emails, non-existent accounts.
List hygiene again?
List hygiene is critical. If you keep hitting addresses that bounce, Gmail sees that as a sign you're not managing your list well.
What about spam complaints themselves?
Hugely impactful, especially with Gmail. When people actively hit that report spam button, it's a very strong negative signal. Get too many of those, and your inbox placement will suffer badly.
So the fix is, don't send stuff people will mark as spam.
Pretty much. Send content people actually signed up for and expect. Make the unsubscribe link super obvious, easy to find, one click if possible.
No hiding it.
Definitely not. And regularly prune your list. Get rid of people who just aren't engaging anymore.
That ties into the next point, right? Sending to people who just aren't interested.
Absolutely. You always need to think, what's in it for the recipient? Is this email genuinely useful, educational, expected? Does it make their life easier somehow?
Or is it just purely promotional noise?
Exactly. If your spam complaints start creeping up, ask yourself honestly, is this content actually valuable? Maybe even show it to someone who fits your target audience profile and get their candid feedback.
Good practical tip. Okay, let's shift to the technical side again. DNS settings. How can that block emails?
Yeah. Even with great content and reputation, if your DNS isn't set up right, Gmail might struggle to authenticate you. DNS is like the internet's phone book routing email.
Right.
And Gmail expects certain records to be in place to verify you are who you say you are. And then there's bounce rates again, but specifically the rate itself.
You mentioned cleaning lists, but what's the threshold?
Generally, if your bounce rate for Gmail recipients goes consistently above, say, 2%, that can trigger blocking. It just signals poor list quality. Keep that rate low.
Okay, 2% is a good benchmark to keep in mind. And the final reason, number 10.
It often comes down to just not keeping up with Gmail's specific best practices. They publish guidelines for bulk senders.
Things beyond just SPF DKMDMAR.
Yeah, like making sure your sending IP has a valid pointer record or reverse DNS that helps verify your server. Also, just having a generally low domain reputation, even if the IP isn't technically blacklisted, can cause issues.
So you need to stay current with what Gmail expects.
Definitely. Check their bulk sender guidelines periodically. They talk about spam rate thresholds, using their feedback loop, monitoring reputation. It's all in there for serious senders.
That's a really thorough breakdown of the why. Now, let's pivot to the what to do. What are, say, 5 key steps listeners can take proactively?
Okay, 5 concrete actions. First, and this is simple but effective, ask your Gmail subscribers to add your sending domain or from address to their contacts. Whitelisting.
Tell Gmail directly, I want this email.
Exactly. It's a strong positive signal. Suggesting this when someone first signs up is a great time to do it.
Smart. What's number 2?
Run tests before you send a big campaign. Use an inbox placement or spam filtering tool.
Like a simulator.
Pretty much. These tools show you how different providers, including Gmail, are likely to treat your email before it goes out live. It lets you catch problems early.
Essential pre-flight check. Number 3.
Validate your email addresses. We keep coming back to this, but seriously, verify those Gmail addresses before you add them or send to them. Prevent the hard bounces.
Okay, validation first. 4th step.
Set up SPF correctly, Sender Policy Framework. It's a core authentication method. You basically publish a list of IP addresses that are allowed to send email for your domain, fighting off spoofing.
Foundational technical step. Got it. And the 5th, preventative measure.
Send emails consistently, not necessarily the same number every day, but avoid massive, sudden spikes in volume.
So steady wins the race.
Kind of, yeah. If you usually send weekly, stick to weekly. If daily, stick to daily. Growing your list is fine, but ramp up the volume gradually. Predictable patterns are much safer with Gmail's filters.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So wrapping this up, it sounds like the main takeaway is that, yes, Gmail has strong defenses against spam.
Very strong.
But for legitimate senders who focus on giving recipients value, who manage their reputation carefully, and who, importantly, pay attention to Gmail's specific technical requirements, and best practices.
Getting into the inbox consistently is absolutely doable. It requires diligence, but it's not impossible. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, happy inbox allying.